I'll repeat the question. Who wants to go first? Okay, you, for which company?
Alex, Mallorie, sorry. Do you find that people change their Myers-Briggs over their lifetime?
Absolutely. So
okay.
It's actually, like, it's been written about a lot that people start to develop the weaknesses that they have early in life as they age, essentially. So for me as a thinker, for instance, I'll develop the feeler side that is in there somewhere as I get older. And so that's like very sort of well known across the Myers-Briggs that you sort of teach yourself and then just also naturally develop the other skill sets. And it's not to say that it's impossible to do that, but you have to put a lot of focus because it's your tendency. Essentially. So it takes a lot of work to kind of be able to encapsulate both skill sets, but you can definitely do it.
Next question.
Yeah. Just a question for PumpUp. I'm curious how you launched yourself on Snapchat. You said you did it for 3 months. Did you make the special to sort of get launched on that platform?
Do we do anything special to launch our Snapchat marketing? We've been on for like a month and a half. I mean, we kind of have an unfair advantage because we already have a big social presence. So the second we got on Snapchat, we pushed it through our existing social channels, and I think the first day had like 1,000 or something. So it's like, I don't have a secret for you. We already had an audience, so we leveraged that audience. I actually thought it would be like much larger by now. It's actually difficult to get people to follow you on another channel, I found.
Yeah, because you can't natively search on Snapchat.
No, Snapchat discovery is a mess, so whoever was talking about that before, good idea. I want to talk, find me after, please. What do you mean by referrals? Yeah, well, what we do is we talk about on our other social channels when it makes sense to. We don't want to bombard people. And then when a user takes it over, because that's how we do Snapchat, one of our users takes it over every day, we give them content to share on their social media. So we create something for them, tell them how, like, key points to cover. So every new person that takes it over, they'll talk about it on their channel. So sometimes, like, some of our users have, like, I don't know, 50 or 100,000 followers within our community. So if they post, hey, come follow me here as well, and people already like following them, we'll get a really nice bump that day.
Next question.
Well, our community manager manages it. We choose very selectively. There's a lot of people to choose from. No, we give them guidelines. They're not going to abuse it because there's a lot to lose if they abuse it, like their PumpUp account that they have thousands of followers on.
Anyone on this side of the room? No questions here?
Is that a question or a lean?
It's lean.
I think yes, that's a good question now.
Sure. The question is Donald Trump for president. Right? So you're asking how to get to a decision maker? Well, I guess Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Hands down. Canadians love all that. Right? Right? Does everyone love Donald Trump? It's the most. I watch more American politics than I do Canadian politics. Just kidding. It's jokes. Anyways, no, I don't think it works. I think you have to really tailor everything you're doing to the market you're working in. So if you're selling to Canadians, then you have to be Canadian. If you're selling to Americans, like most of our business is in the US, and all of our sales force is in the US. So we have Americans selling to Americans. It's very difficult to kind of cross cultural boundaries and build rapport. So hopefully that's perfect. Yeah.
you balance money in the very beginning? What do you pay yourself? How do you spend money? So in the very early days, typically, especially if you have no money, you don't spend any money. The first money that comes in for us, we spent on the things that we absolutely needed to do. So what was the next thing we needed? We needed to build this product, so we'll spend it to hire somebody to do that. If we, obviously, I talked a lot about paying for a service in the early days can actually save you money in the long term. So that essential stuff in the beginning we spend money on. And then you pay yourself. Generally, if you have so much revenue coming in that there's no way not to pay yourself, or if you have raised money and you've put together a really good budget that shows where you're going and how much you can pay yourself versus how much you're allocating to the other parts of the company. But generally, company spending comes first and your salary comes second.
Well, yeah, it's a little bit different, but I think it actually varies by the individuals. So across our company, I would say there are some individuals where there's not a lot of skin in the game, they don't have a lot of upside, so they actually get paid what would be fair market. Then there's the other individuals, they're maybe at different life stages, so it's the trade-off, and they know, hey, we want you in on this, so you're trading off sort of deferred equity for comp. And you got to make sure that people are doing that and comfortable, because if they're not comfortable, then you've got a huge retention risk.
Any more? One last question.
You spoke about the focusing on the problem and not the reverse solution. So for that, did you pick your early adopters, or did you focus on some segment that you thought would become the platform more easy?
Sure. So the question was, I spoke about focusing on the problem the client is having and not on the solution they're proposing. So did we pick our early adopters strategically so that we would really get a lot of those problems and start to figure out exactly where the platform was going? The answer is no. We picked our early adopters based on the market. So the people that were feeling the pain point the strongest and we thought had the budgets and we could really create value to solve that problem for them, that's purely what we picked our early adopters on. And then those are often the people that will actually present you with the best advice. Like they're the ones that are going to have the toughest problems to solve, and they're maybe going to give you solutions, but that's when you start to really dig in. So you kind of get both by just focusing on the right market.
Thanks. Can you get a big hand of applause?